does this make sense? How does it make sense to have Andy Stern, who is currently bankrupting the unions that he runs, this guy? We have him now trying to work on the deficit. Here's a guy who is for global government and globalization. He's going to be on the committee to fix our deficit. Right. And then how is he going to be the guy who's going to address all of America's concerns? You know, the American worker. How is this guy going to protect the American worker when he's creating a global union? Could we just noodle it for just a second? Because it doesn't work. How about cap and trade? We're still pushing that. You got to be kidding me. Even the progressive Republican, Senator Lindsey Graham, has proposed now putting a price on carbon. Oh, well, Lindsey, that's going to be good for the economy. Let's start with a very focused carbon tax. Focus. Did I remind you a minute ago? Spain, they tried this. They're paying the price for every green job gain. Of course, they don't have that, probably the greatest gift of the 20th century to mankind, Van Jones creating it. But Spain, I'm sure, has somebody equally as cool creating green jobs. For every one they gain, they lose 2 somewhere else in the economy. And do you remember what the president said, watch this, about cap and trade on the campaign trail?
My plan of a cap and trade system,
yeah,
electricity rates would necessarily skyrocket.
That's going to be good. Necessarily skyrocket. Well, I guess he wasn't kidding, because according to Harvard's Belfer Center for Science and International Affairs, to meet the Obama administration target for cutting greenhouse gases, if we do this, this is how much gasoline is going to cost you. If we just do what this clown says to do. 1, 2, 2 plus 5, I went to Harvard, 7. $7 a gallon for gasoline from Harvard today. How's that going to work out in our economy? How's that going to work out in your family? Right now, you pay, what? We paid $3.50, I think, for this gallon. $3.29? $3.29. I can't believe it. In New York City, there's got to be a milk scam going on. Some places, you pay up to $5 for a gallon of milk. You're going to pay $7 to get into your car to go get the gallon of milk. Now, let me ask you this. The milk's not just, you know, put into this. This isn't how it comes from the cow. And the cow isn't in the back of the supermarket. How much is it going to affect the price of milk when the farmer has to pay $7 a gallon for gasoline, and the trucker has to pay $7 a gallon for gasoline, and you have to pay $7? How much are you going to be paying for milk for the kids? How much? I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I barely honestly made it past algebra. But I can figure this one out. This is not sustainable. And they're not even trying. I mean, are you really trying to convince me that we have much smarter people than me, who have achieved power, who are in the White House, and they're currently voting and crafting health care and cap and trade and stimulus packages, and they really have no idea that big government doesn't work? Beyond that, they really have no idea what $7 a gallon gasoline will do to you and do to our economy? Really? Come on. Come on. The only way any of this makes any sense at all is if you include the theory that we've talked about on this show many, many times, Cloward and Piven. These are popular and influential radical leftists who felt the only way to implement the system that they wanted was to collapse the current one. Remember, everybody who grew up in the 60s, you know, or dope-smoking, pot-smoking hippies that were having free love, man, revolution. These are the people running our country right now. So they said, well, we're going to finally have our revolution. They will collapse it, but they'll have a structure of a new system in place. That's what healthcare and cap and trade is all about. Power and money. Come on. Europe is falling apart. It's not like they're proudly running infomercials right now. Hey, America, are you tired of the same old boring republic? Well, we got a system for you. No. No. Why are we looking to this as a new model? their model isn't working. And they're not, it's not like, I don't know, there's too much government control here. We need to scale it back. No, no, no. In fact, what they're doing is the opposite. As these are collapsing, Germany and France have come up with a new idea. See if this sounds familiar. A new idea. What they're going to do is they're going to put this new structure in. They're going to double down. And they're going for an even more oppressive and bloated government. The doctors know. I mean, they actually don't, but having them stand here makes it seem like I'm right, doesn't it? It worked for Barack Obama. Why isn't it working for me? The new system that they're talking about resembles, a little bit more like China. China, you see, is becoming the new it model around the globe because, well, at least that's working. Yes, they have slaves. China is what Europe says is the new model. Well, guess what? We're all moving towards China. We should consider ourselves lucky if we come out of this thing looking like France. Here's the progression. This is progress for you. And progressives, please answer this question. Progress means you're moving someplace. Where are we moving to? Where's the end goal? Show me the end goal. Would you do that? Where do we stop? Here's where we started. No government, anarchy. With the Articles of Confederation, we were right here in anarchy. Didn't work. So in 1791, we did a constitutional republic. And we told, our founders promised that our federal government would never leave this circle. Never. And then we drifted, and we drifted. So we upped the circle just a little bit, and drifted. 1900. Progressives, they decide, instead of taking it, this is where Teddy Roosevelt, he took us over here. But at 1900, here's what they did. Where's the eraser? Here's what the progressives did. This is no longer a choice. No, this is outdated. It's old. It doesn't work. No, 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 no. No, no. We start here. Now, we don't want to go all the way here. So we're just going to go here. Woodrow Wilson, FDR. Now, here's Europe. Here's where we are now under Obama. We're almost at Europe, but Europe is collapsing, and Europe is making progress this direction too. So when this collapses, well, that wasn't big enough government, so maybe we should look over here. Oh, now we're into Russia territory. Wouldn't that be great? And what's right after Russia? On the progress, the scale of progress to an even better government? China. You ask anybody who really looks at global politics and they will tell you China is the new goal. Why do you think there's so many Maoists hanging around the White House? Ron Bloom, Anita Dunn, Van Jones. Because this is where we're headed unless we put the brakes on. It's not a place you want to live. Yeah, they have 200 million people living comfortably in middle class. It's great, but another billion are living in complete and total hell, poverty, and oppression. Do you remember the young Chinese Olympic gymnast from the 2008 games? Let me bring you over here again. I'm sorry, this is a crazy show, isn't it? Here's an exchange from the press conference after she won the medal. This girl, okay? They asked her, are your parents here to see you compete among the cheering crowds? She said, I don't know. Well, when was the last time you went home? Oh, I don't know. Oh, when was the last time you went home? Before I joined the national team, okay? When was that? More than a year ago? Will you go to holiday after the games? I don't know. Is this what you want to live under? This isn't it. Does that sound like the system you want your kids growing up in? Sure, they can make things cheaper with slaves. Healthcare? Show the debt clock, please. Let me see if I have this right. We owe this right now. This is what's on the bottom line right now. But the real number is almost $120 trillion. Now, so they say we're going to fix this with government because evil health care, evil health insurance companies. What we do is we have to have people without pre-existence. So in other words, if you're sick, you have cancer, the health insurance companies have to take you. And they can never, ever drop you. Oh, well, that's a business model that only the doctor over here really understands. Because I don't. It doesn't work in business. It'll put all of the insurance companies out of business, period. And that's the intention. collapse the system, create a new one. And one of the guys right smack dab in the middle of it is Andy Stern from SEIU. I'm going to show you his own words, how he describes where this country is going. You tell me if it sounds more like China, France, or what used to be called the United States of America. Back in a minute.